The 6 mod inputs on the Tetrachords can be used to control almost any of the Tetrachord settings via CV. So I'm just going to give a quick overview of how to set up a mod. So I'm going to use a cycling channel of maths here as my modulation source. I'm going to plug that into mod input 1. I am then going to press the mod button and I will enter the mod menu. The 6 mod inputs are laid out on the RGB buttons 1 to 6. So I'm going to select mod input 1, which is the default. And then all I need to do is press or turn anything that I want to modulate. You can modulate multiple things, but I'm just going to modulate the octave button. So I press octave and then exit the mod menu by pressing mod. And now when I input some notes, the CV is modulating the octave. And I can see that by holding octave. And I can see the CV changing the octave there. Just quickly, if I want to unmodulate that, I can press Shift and unmod, enter the unmod menu, and press octave. And now it's not modulating anymore. So that's a quick overview of how to set up a mod, but we can get a little more detailed. Okay, let's take a closer look at the mod menu. So when you press mod, there are 3 main things that you want to look at. The first is which mod input from 1 to 6 you have selected, as shown by the flashing pill. The second is the mod response type, which is shown on the amount to LEDs. And the third is the incoming CV, which is shown on the ring when you plug something in. So first of all, let's look at the mod selection. So it's very simple. You just press the buttons from 1 to 6 to select which mod from 1 to 6 you'd like. So I'm going to stay on mod 1. Then I plug something in. And when I plug something in, you'll see there's a little graphical representation of the incoming CV on the LEDs. And this goes from 0 volts at the 1 to plus 5 volts, positive. And it also shows you any incoming negative CV by going down to negative 5 volts. So positive, negative. This is just a little helpful graphical representation to show what's coming in. And then there is the mod response type, which is shown on the amount to LEDs. And you can change the mod response type using the 8th RGB button between 3 different types. The first is bipolar response, which is shown by this kind of windscreen wiper LED graphic. The second is unipolar response, which just goes from left to right. And the third is trigger. And this is shown by flashing, and on the LEDs, they will flash. So it's recommended to tune the mod response to the type of CV you're sending. I am sending unipolar, just positive CV from the maths, so I'm going to set it to unipolar. Okay, so once you have that, you're ready to select the mod target, and that's very simple. You just turn or press anything on the Tetrachords panel that you would like to modulate. So I'm going to modulate the path knob, so I just simply turn the path knob. It will flash to show that it's been selected. Then on the RGB buttons, I can fine-tune the mod response. So the path knob has 7 possible paths. So there are 7 RGB buttons lit up, and I can turn these paths on or off as modulation destinations. And right now I only have the first 2 on, so it will only modulate between the first and second path. But say I decide that's not actually what I want it to modulate between all of them. I can go back into mod, press mod, turn path and then turn on all the options. And now it will modulate between all of the paths. There's one more thing you can do with the mod menu. If you press mod, turn the thing you want to modulate, path again, you can see down here the link and the jam read write buttons, the LEDs are pulsing from bottom to top. This is to show the inversion of the incoming CV. So if I want to invert it, I can press either of these buttons and the LEDs will pulse in opposite ways to each other. And this signifies that the incoming CV on the path will be inverted. So it's easier to see if there are two things being modulated. So I'm also going to modulate the spread. So now both the spread and the path are being modulated. The path is inverted and the spread is going to be normal or non-inverted. So now if I look at the responses, path is inverted and spread is normal.